All right, what it do? It's your boy TJ and No One Knows 88. Just give me like 1 second here, and I'm gonna get everything up and running for you guys. Had to finish cooking, that was all. So just give me one moment. All right, where is? I'm on live start. Actually, I might just chatting. No, live start. Give me 1 second. Close. Paste. Give me 1 second before it starts.
Discover the most gruesome.
Alright, so the first one that we're starting with is going to be Daniel Myers. So give me 1 second. Trying to get at least speed. Okay, so we got the video up. 1 second. Trying to see if I can get the PNG dude up. Hold on. 1 second. Come on, dude. I gotta get the PNG dude up. So I have my camera ready right now, so. Alright, here's what we might do. We might just pull up the VTuber for like right now. And we're gonna use the VTuber, right? Launch. Does it have an update? That'd be shit, nigga. I think I fixed the issue. Give me 1 second. Let's try the PNG dude again. No, PNG dude doesn't like me right now. So yeah, what I'll do is I will launch the VTuber for now, and then when I get my camera set back up, then we'll do the VTuber way. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm launching it now. VTube. I need a way more serious VTuber because like literally I'm using Mirage, bro. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna go VTube. Alright, hold on. Alright, let's see how that looks. You know what I'll do? I will move him to the opposite side. Yes, sir. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Why do you not want to work for me? Okay. There we go. Are we gonna lock that in place? That's locked in place. Give me 1 second. I'm going to unlock, drag, expand. Right, give me a second. Let me make sure that's right. All right, that's looking good enough. All right, so here we go. So this first case is Daniel Myers. Give me 1 second. Get the YouTube chat up for the people that want to join through YouTube. All right. All right, here we go. Again, Explore With Us, great channel. Definitely check it out. I don't have my very, very angry person that was angry at me last stream that we did for True Crime for doing a True Crime stream without her. But she may be join later. She may have some things to do, so we'll figure that out when we get there. But as of right now,
when police discover the most gruesome murder they had ever come across in the small town of Clyde, Ohio, one detective in particular was determined to track down the depraved killer. However, the ghastly scene would not be the only shocking revelation in a case plagued by police corruption, where it seemed that an unhinged obsession placed blame on a group of innocent suspects, all while overlooking the monster
oh, dude, I didn't realize how much this was peaking.
Hiding in plain sight,
Okay,
eventually landing a detective behind bars. The following interviews and have never been seen or heard before.
Okay, I realized why I was speaking for you guys, because I had my headphones
turned down. A qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor.
Fremont Police, do you have an emergency?
Hi, I'll be over there in about 10 minutes to give you information about the woman that was murdered over there in Clyde.
Heather Bogle was a devoted young mother working a graveyard shift at the local Whirlpool factory to support her 5-year-old daughter. It was a means to an end, as she was also pursuing a career in nursing in order to better support herself and her little girl. On April 9th, 2015, surveillance footage captured Heather leaving the Clyde facility at 6:17 a.m. No one could have ever imagined that this would be the last time Heather would be seen alive. The crime itself was unthinkable, but even more mind-blowing was the tangled web of deception that would be unraveled during the course of the investigation. It was the type of case where nothing was as it appeared to be. Heather had a history of depression. Just 2 years prior, she'd allegedly attempted to take her own life and was prescribed the drug lamotrigine. Knowing this, after she went missing, her mother feared that another attempt may have been made, and a frantic search quickly ensued. It would only be one day before Heather's loved one's worst fears were confirmed. On April 10th, police located Heather's vehicle outside the Somerton Apartments on Hickory Street in Clyde, Ohio, prompting officers to believe that she might have been inside of the complex. However, they quickly learned that this was sadly not the case. They never anticipated that while searching Heather's car, they would open the trunk to find the missing woman's lifeless body resting inside.
Jesus Christ. All right, listen. Give me 1 second. We'll get right back into this. Something just came up, so I'll be right back. All right, supposedly never mind. We can get right back into this.
Authorities were barely able to stomach the horrendous wounds that Heather had endured, including various bruises and marks among her legs, arms, and face, indicating that someone had mercilessly beaten her. Not only this, but shockingly, her hair had been cut off at the scalp, and her fingernails were shaven all the way down to the cuticles. She had marks around her.
Nah, bruh. Whoever did this is a super villain, bro. Like, normally these dudes is just villains. Crazy motherfuckers. Nah, this one right here is a super villain. Homie goes, not, like, it's not funny, but like, dude literally just goes, not only am I just gonna kill you, I'm gonna cut off all your hair to try to make you unrecognizable. I'm gonna shave your fingernails all the way down to the cuticles, basically leaving you with nothing left. Like, this dude was only here to, like, desecrate her body, and that's literally about it, bro. Like, that is wild. That is not only wild, it's ridiculous. Like, truly, man. This dude is sick. My God. All right, let's continue, bro.
Her wrists and ankles, signifying that she'd been bound and tied. Ultimately, her cause of death was determined to be 2 gunshots to her back, which punctured vital organs in her chest.
So with that being said, that her cause of death was oh Lord. Her cause of death was the 2 gunshot wounds to her back, which means, like, they probably did the rest of this stuff while she was alive. They tortured her and then killed her, bro. Like, okay. Whoever this dude is, he is sick. I cannot wait till we get to the investigation part of this. Because this dude, either one, is like the most sickest individual. Because I don't know what he looks like. But he has to be sick, bro.
Defensive wounds found on Heather's hands told investigators that, despite the horrific attack, she fought for every last second of her life. Along with this, it was determined that her Galaxy Samsung cell phone, purse, a set of keys, and Whirlpool work shirt were all missing. The police, too stunned to comprehend the horrific sight before them, were now on a manhunt for the mysterious killer. But, unbeknownst to them, their window of time was closing by the second. Still, they had a lead. Heather had been facing a rather tumultuous season in her life. She was in the middle of a devastating breakup with an ex-girlfriend, Carmela Badillo, and the relationship hadn't necessarily ended on good terms. Both of the women had met during their time at Whirlpool, and they officially began dating in 2014. Throughout the romance, the couple would often fight over various subjects, but at the forefront were Heather's supposed allegations of infidelity against Carmela. It wasn't long before their issues would create a permanent rift between the two, and the year-long relationship would come to an end just 3 days before Heather's disappearance.
So, here's what I'm thinking so far. One or two things. Either Heather planted... Wait. Hold on. Give me a second. I have to make sure I know the victim's name because I think it... No, Heather was the victim. Carmela was the... What is it? Sorry. Carmela was the ex-girlfriend. So, one or two things. Either Carmela set this up to make it look like somebody named Daniel Myers did it, or Carmela hired Daniel Myers, or Daniel Myers is just a completely sick individual. But we'll find out.
In texts recovered through Heather's phone company on April 8th, the fury between the two was clear. In one message, Carmela stated, "Last night wasn't something small, Heather. I have to make appointments with a cardiologist and was doing various tests all night. I thank God for my mom being there. She's the only one who will ever have my back and care about me. I would have never not been by your side. I don't ever in this lifetime want to speak to you again. Goodbye."
She meant that shit with her whole ass chest.
Apparently, Carmela had faced an unexpected illness the previous night and requested that Heather come to her aid, even though they'd been broken up. But seeing as she had a shift to attend, Heather was unable to make it. In response, Heather wrote, "I had your back. I couldn't lose my job. I'm already so far behind in bills, it's ridiculous. And I have nobody to help me out or even be here for me. And you kept pushing away. I wanted to be there for you. I honestly did and still do. But I understand I cannot know what is going on if you do not talk to me. But please do continue to take everything out on me." Following the break.
Okay, this truly seems like a genuinely just toxic relationship. I ain't even gonna sit there and lie. Like, this shit seems like a genuinely toxic relationship, bro. Like, so they were arguing a lot. Like, they obviously were not like at each other's I don't believe they were at each other's necks the whole time, but it really is like seeming like that from these last texts. Like, they were always arguing and back and forth.
Breakup, Heather also texted her friend Jerry Avalos on April 8th, saying, "I deactivated Facebook and all other social media. Literally never talked to my friends, couldn't even have a friend. She wouldn't allow it." It's a clear red flag when a partner tries to control who the other person can talk to or be friends with.
Yup.
It's important to remember that Heather was upset about the breakup when she
Lord.
sent this message.
Oh, God.
And it's possible that Carmela has a very different viewpoint on their relationship. When officers recovered Heather's body, they also discovered a shocking handwritten letter in the vehicle. It was one of passion and rage, each sentence more intense than the last.
Ooh, what did it say?
Unfortunately, it's unknown what was written, but every single word had been directed at Heather.
Why do we not know what was
almost as
written?
if they wanted to hurt her. To no surprise, the penman had been none other than her scorned ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
But this wasn't the only relationship that seemed to be falling apart for Heather, as additional texts showcased an obscene message from her brother, Josh Fiesel.
What?
Heather had recently failed one of her nursing exams, and Josh added to the upsetting occasion. He wrote, "Too stupid to pass the LPN exam," and called her a demeaning name. He also texted, "Low expectations of yourself, typical trash like your mom and dad."
Whoa, pause. Bro, you supposed to be her damn brother. What the fuck? Hold on. My man said, "You're too stupid to pass the LPM bad exam. Dumb hoe. Low expectations of yourself." Like, bro, I feel bad. Like, I'm not sure if she was toxic at all. We don't know. Or at least not yet. We don't have her side of any of these messages. Besides her saying that, like, "Oh, I was always there for you." I mean, in the relationship, Carmela would just seem to be toxic, truly. Carmela 100% was toxic. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing else about it. She was a toxic individual who was really controlling. But her brother, bro, I don't know if her brother is either just an asshole or like, I don't know, bro. Because he obviously talking about trash, like her mom and dad, and it's supposed to be her brother. Like, what the hell, bro? What the fuck going on with this family, dude? This keep getting deeper. Maybe her brother set her up.
Texted, "Low expectations of yourself, typical trash like your mom and dad." Josh's cruelty towards Heather was no secret to their friends and family, but could he have gone so far as to take her life? Well, the lead detective on the case, Sean O'Connell, had his eyes set on uncovering the answer to this very question. However, as we will soon come to learn, his methods were far from the ordinary.
What?
Still, no one could have predicted the scandal that was about to unravel. Despite the varying fights with Carmela and Josh, it wouldn't take long before they were dismissed as potential suspects. As the hunt for the killer continued, Detective O'Connell quickly located a new person of interest. Tenants had reportedly told the detective that they had seen Heather frequently visiting Building 240 of the Somerton apartments, well before her body was found in the parking lot. It was believed that she would allegedly purchase marijuana from an unknown resident of the complex. When this information was discovered, Detective O'Connell began to dig and eventually found his new lead suspect, 24-year-old Kiona Bohr, thanks to a complaint filed against her by another occupant.
Oh, Lord. Okay, there's going to be one or two things. He said that this man's detective methods weren't too good. There's going to be one or two things. One, homies are racist. because I can't really tell, but she looks black, but she may also be Hispanic, or maybe a mix of both. But we will see.
It alleged that the scent of marijuana was emanating from her apartment. Kiona, a mother of two, was supposedly very nervous while speaking with police after Heather's body was discovered, and Detective O'Connell found this to be rather odd. Though she denied any involvement, O'Connell wasn't convinced. Despite this, following her discussion with the authorities, Kiona wrote a series of strange Facebook posts, especially under the given circumstances. I can't believe this just happened, and doing 8 to 10 years for murder and pleading insanity could be seen amongst her account,
Wait,
only
what?
furthering the detective's suspicions. Not only
Maybe
this,
she
but
did
according to two residents of the Somerton apartments, Kiona was allegedly seen wearing the same red Mickey Mouse t-shirt that Heather's body had been dressed in, well before the tragic event. And lastly, Kiona had been romantically involved with 39-year-old Julian Kaiser, who Detective O'Connell helped to put behind bars for 10 years on a first drug offense. It seemed that the evidence against Kiona was beginning to mount. 4 days after Heather's body was recovered, Kiona was interviewed by Detective O'Connell, and as you're about to see, the tension in the room was so thick it could have been cut with a knife.
Ooh, let's see.
Do you know that name by chance, Heather Bogle?
I don't even know who she is. The only time I heard of her was when the police knocked on the door, and then I didn't even know who she was. I was like, I don't know her. And then I went inside and got on my Facebook, and I seen her on Facebook.
Obviously, for one reason or another, her vehicle ends up at the Hickory Street Apartments parked in front of your building 240. The question is, why did it end up there? So we've talked to a lot of people, and we are comfortable to say that Heather has been known to frequent building 240. We feel comfortable that she was voluntarily there probably on Thursday of last week, a couple different times. She was there, then her vehicle had left, and the vehicle had come back, and then the vehicle leaves, and then it finally comes back for the last time on Friday morning and around 1:30. Okay.
So why am I here, though?
And I'm getting to that point. It's my understanding that Heather likes to smoke some weed. Okay, she does it on probably on a somewhat of a regular basis. She has to buy it from somebody. We know that we've had complaints on your particular apartment in reference the odor of marijuana coming from it from one time or another that led to the police knocking on your door and trying to figure out.
Police has never came to my door. If the police came to my door, they better have a report. The police never knocked on my door.
There is a police report.
They talked to me. They spoke to me.
There's a police report on March 18th. Without going back and looking at their police report, I'm not going to say that they talked to you or not, but I know there is a police report, and there are incidents reports with management pertaining to the smell of marijuana coming from your apartment.
So why hasn't anybody said anything to me previously?
I don't
My
know.
landlord, the
That's
police.
a good question.
That's
I guess
real sketchy, because yesterday a white man came up to me and asked me, were you the one that they had got in trouble for smoking weed? It was smelling like weed in the hallway? And I said, no, that wasn't me. I don't even smoke weed. And he said, well, I do every now and then, whoop whoop, trying to get me to say something. So it was probably him that tried to call y'all. This is so silly. This is crazy. Like, y'all just raided my house. I work at a nursing home. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. Like, this is crazy.
I understand.
Kiona comes across as quite self-assured. When someone is telling the truth, they may appear more confident because they know the facts are on their side. The detective should have built some kind of relationship with her prior to starting into questions about Heather.
Yeah, I will say, the way this detective's going about it is very odd. It is extremely different from every other case that we've seen so far on this channel from detectives. One, there's no recording of it, which is automatically suspicious for me personally. Two, this dude isn't like trying to like play the role of like, listen, I'm on your side. We here together. I'm just trying to understand what's happening. He's more or less playing the role like, I know you did it. You 100% did it. You going to jail. Like, that's what I'm getting. Something don't seem right here. But we'll let it play. We'll let it play.
Essentially, what he has done here is without any evidence whatsoever. He is launched into an interrogation
Yes, sir. That's what I'm
rather
saying.
than conduct an actual interview first.
It's my understanding, and another thing that kind of supports what we're looking at is the idea that you are or have dated a guy from Mississippi that used to work at Whirlpool, correct?
Who would say that?
Well,
I never dated anybody. Just because I talked to somebody, like,
all right. So you talked to somebody, you associate
they're not even here. They've been left months and months and months ago. So
Okay, what's months and months and months ago?
like months ago when they went home, we was never dating.
Who's the two guys that keep coming and going out of your apartment?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
How does it matter? My personal
Because
business, I don't have any, I don't know
Your
this girl.
personal business is not becoming our business.
Okay, so who I sleep with is y'all business.
No.
Like, I mean, that's what I do. That's all I'm doing. So that doesn't have anything to do with this. That's what I'm saying. That don't.
These are the
God damn. Woo! Ain't no judgment over here. You want to see what a lot of niggas go ahead. But I won't expecting. Yeah, I don't even care.
questions that we're going to ask, and these are the questions we're asking.
Okay, well, I mean, if I need a lawyer, I can get a lawyer, but I don't. I mean, I'm just saying.
You're not charged with anything.
We're
You're not under
investigating
arrest.
a homicide. If we can tie your
Wait, did he even read her rights into an interrogation? Homie didn't even read her rights. Yo, man is out of pocket. Wrong button. This man's out of pocket. He ain't even read the rights yet. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no motherfucking way. Homie ain't out here reading people their rights. Like that's crazy, bro.
your apartment into a homicide
You
investigation?
can't tie my apartment. You can.
Maybe not. I don't.
I know you can't. I don't even know this girl, so I know
But
for
that's-
100% you can't.
Apparently, two different men had visited Kiona at her apartment on
These some ugly ass niggas. Let's just start there. These is some ugly ass niggas. God damn. These some ugly ass niggas.
various occasions in the recent past. Omar Satchel and Kayrie Jeffrey. It wasn't
K. Reed, nigga, what the fuck?
long before Detective O'Connell considered them additional suspects in Heather's
Bro, this detective is just assuming niggas is suspects. Homie has literally no evidence. Who is this detective, man? Who is he?
gruesome murder. And soon, we will see exactly why that was.
But this is the thing. That's why we're asking. That's why we're asking the questions. And if
Right,
you tell
but
us
you
that-
guys just raided my apartment. You know, yesterday when I went to my house and got that paper, my neighbors ran for me. Like, I'm out here killing people. Like, y'all just ruined my life over this because I smoked some weed. Like, this crazy.
Okay.
Okay, you suspect as fuck, because earlier you said you only smoke weed like that.
We had probable cause to search your apartment.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, that's.
right.
I never seen this girl in my life. Don't
Okay,
know this
maybe
girl,
you have,
nothing.
but maybe those who you associate yourself with have.
Maybe people they associate themselves with. Did you talk to the previous
Why
neighbors
are
that
you
lived
being
there?
so reluctant on wanting to tell us who you
Because
associate?
y'all just raided my house and took my baby daddy to
Okay.
prison for 11
You
years.
know what
Y'all
it
think
sounds
I'm
like to me, Kiona? It sounds
What?
like you're withholding information.
No,
related
it
to a
sounds like
homicide.
I don't.
Yo, what? This? Bro. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no. What the fuck just happened? Hold on. What did I. Wait, where was I at? Hold on. Where am I? I accidentally hit the skip button. Hold on. That's what we're asking your help. Okay, there we go. All right, we're back at the spot. Hold on. Dude, now my VTuber doesn't want to fucking work. Gee, what the fuck? The hell? There we go. I like how I spent all that time trying to be bad, and I ain't even bad no more. Like this dude from the get go is ridiculous, bruh. Like, dude is just making assumptions. Tell me, so it sounds like you're withholding information about the homicide, bro. You have no information. This dude has to be assisting with the murder. There is no way he is not.
Like, this is ridiculous.
There is an important distinction here with Kiona talking about getting a lawyer. She didn't unequivocally ask to speak with a lawyer, which is why the officer continued talking to her. If this case were to go to trial, Kiona's attorneys could have argued that this should have been interpreted as a request for counsel. But it's not incumbent upon police to clarify statements, and they don't have to.
This nigga's racist. Like, he's 100% racist.
Stop an interrogation if a suspect makes an ambiguous statement about requesting counsel. This means that the burden of clearly invoking the right rests with the suspect. It's also important to note that though Kiona is being questioned by officers, she was free to leave at any time and was neither detained nor under arrest, which means that the Miranda requirements are not in play here. It also
What? Yeah, this dude was cheating the system.
appears that the officer was allowing emotion to control him. It's apparent he did little to build rapport with Kiona, and the major example of this is by accusing her of having something to hide. The most important aspect of Reed is to effectively have officers be viewed as advocates, possibly even allies, rather than as adversaries. Instead, the officer should have engaged in asking more open-ended questions, rather than throwing multiple accusations at Kiona. By failing to literally be curious and invite Kiona to tell her story, the officer instead made judgments which shut down further discourse and didn't do anything to win her over. It's not uncommon to see officers become frustrated during an interview or interrogation for a number of reasons. However, a much better strategy is to show the suspect a way out of the mess they find themselves in. This way out is generally couched as "the truth will set you free." Most of the time, it won't set them physically free, but it can be a means to unload a burden via telling officers the truth. In these circumstances, officers emphasize remaining open and non-accusatory, even when presenting facts that contradict previous statements. This allows the conversation to continue.
Y'all just ruined my life for some little.
Yeah, we didn't ruin
This ain't
anybody's
little, it's a
life.
homicide.
I mean, but I don't know anything
Well,
about it. But
that's
this is what I'm.
Apparently you do, because you're not telling us who your boyfriends are.
I don't
So-
have boyfriends.
Then who are the guys that keep coming
It
and
doesn't.
going?
I don't know.
It does matter, because we're talking about a homicide.
I mean, am I being charged with something? Am I getting arrested?
Not yet.
Okay then. I mean, I can get a lawyer and come back.
If you want to get a lawyer, go get a lawyer. That just tells me you got something to hide.
I don't have anything to hide, but I
Apparently
know
you do,
how
because
y'all
you feel the
are.
need. How are we?
I don't.
Because we got your boyfriend and father your baby with a bunch of dope, and he's
Right.
a doper for his whole entire life.
Okay.
We're in the wrong.
So
for
that's
that?
why you raided my house.
No, that's not why.
That's probably
Because you
why.
had marijuana in your house.
But you didn't know that.
Yeah, we did. We
How'd
had
you know
reason to
that?
believe it.
You had reason to believe that because somebody
Yeah,
said that.
we had probable cause. and
Because
Jeff
someone said they smelled odor, never been in my house, never talked to me. The police didn't come to my door and see if there was marijuana.
Your
odor coming out
association
my
with
house.
Julian Kaiser when
He's
you were
been in
living
prison
there?
for how long?
I don't care. You're still
It doesn't-
associated with
so I'm
Julian
associated
Kaiser.
with somebody
All right,
that's
you
in
know what?
prison.
Do you want to talk or not?
I don't want to talk.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you. So
You're now involved in a homicide investigation.
Great day.
The detectives may be misinterpreting.
Yo, I would beat this nigga ass on my mama. On my mama, I fuck this nigga up on the street. No questions, bro. He need his ass beat. Homie need his ass beat. He ain't never had his ass whooped. Matter of fact, you know what? He probably has. Homie was probably one of the motherfuckers that got his ass beat in high school and decided to be a fucking cop because he ain't had nothing else to do better with his fucking life. Bro, whoop his ass. Whoop his ass.
Kiona's reluctance to share the names of the two men. She's likely trying to protect her friends, but that does not mean they are guilty. It's also extremely manipulative for the detective to tell her that by asking for a lawyer, she had something to hide, when in actuality, he was just irritated that she was making a smart decision for herself.
Cunt ass motherfucker.
Nonetheless, the unrelenting pressure from the detectives left all parties in a state of frustration. But Kiona was living a real-life nightmare, suspected of murder, and was now in a fight for her life. After the troubling interview, authorities were looking into the possibility of charging 3 people with the crime, as they began to investigate Omar and Kairi. Omar, who had previously served prison time for home invasion and firearm charges, had allegedly sold marijuana to Heather, as reported by O'Connell, although this has never been confirmed.
So this motherfucker is just making up facts now? He's just making up facts? Not even facts, they wouldn't be classified. He's just making shit up.
When police finally spoke with Omar, he supposedly admitted to having stolen a .380 caliber firearm from his fiancée, but claimed to have sold the gun to a resident living in Michigan not long after. Along with this, authorities allegedly found him to be in possession of unidentified pills and a pocket knife with a blonde strand of hair attached. In an interview with the Fremont News Messenger, Omar adamantly denied that he had ever met or known Heather, gravely pleading for his innocence. In a shocking quote, he described his encounter with Detective O'Connell by saying that, "Sean O'Connell told me I know it's not you, but I'll make it you." Of course, the detective would deny having ever uttered the threat.
This motherfucker look like the type of bitch to utter some shit. Man, fuck him up. Fuck this dude, bruh. Fuck him. Fuck him and his mama, nigga. This shit's crazy, bruh. Hold on, give me 1 second. We gonna set up the cam for this. I'm gonna go set up the cam. But we setting this shit up now. Hold on now. I think the camera's set up. Hold on, give me a second. I think the camera's set up. Give me 1 moment. We're gonna verify. Give me 1 second. All right, hold on. All right, bro. All right, here we go. We got the camera set up. There we go. All right. Now I can be mad. Now I can be mad. Oh, God, bro. It's so fucking fun, too. Hold on. There we go. All right, now you can see me talking while I'm mad. There we go.
But the truth of the matter remains up in the air. Be that as it may, later actions by O'Connell that you'll soon learn of might have you drawing your own conclusions.
No shit.
Omar also stated that during the days of April 8th through the 10th, when Heather was missing, he was residing at the Days Inn Hotel. At the time of Heather's murder, he claimed to have been visiting 3 separate bars in the Fremont area. However, it has also been reported that he was actually hiding at Kiona's apartment in an attempt to evade an arrest warrant. Despite this, O'Connell was still extremely skeptical and supposedly insinuated that Omar could have still traveled from the various locations to commit the crime. Still, his focus shifted to his final suspect, 26-year-old Kayri.
Bro, this
As a
dude is
supposed
just
friend of
making
Omar's,
people
Kayri was
suspects,
just as
bruh.
much on Detective O'Connell's
Bitch ass
radar,
nigga.
and he would do anything to prove their guilt. According to a source, Kayri was apparently seen throwing a suspicious black bag into a river on April 10th, 2015, presumably containing a firearm. O'Connell asserted that the supposed gun was used in a homicide, potentially Heather's, and quickly released a full dive team to recover the weapon. But to O'Connell's dismay, the search would prove to be unsuccessful. Claiming that Kiona, Omar, and Kayri were likely the murderers, the detective was still missing one important piece of information: the motive.
And the
Why would any of
facts.
them want to hurt Heather, let alone kill her? Not even O'Connell could say, but suddenly, in the blink of an eye, another disappointment abruptly struck the desperate detective, and it would send the case in an entirely different direction. Underneath Heather's fingernails was a small amount of DNA. The results were shocking, concluding that neither Kiona, Omar, or Kayri had come back as a positive match. In an instant, their names were cleared. At
Yes,
least,
sir.
that should have happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They should have never been involved anyway. I mean, they should have been involved. They was at the apartment. But like, this dude was just 100% being racist. He was 100% being racist. Ain't no questions about it. Homie was racist.
Instead, O'Connell stuck to his original claims, not stopping to even ponder the possibility that he might have been wrong.
What? Dude, there was unequivocal evidence that it was not them. And this dude goes, nah, they had to be involved. Yeah, that's what, he's just racist, bro. He's racist. Look at him. Fucking bitch ass motherfucker.
But his delusions would only lead him further away from the actual killer. This just goes to show how detectives can sometimes develop tunnel vision and
No, it's not tunnel vision. He's racist.
narrow in on a suspect while ignoring other possibilities despite sufficient evidence. O'Connell had already spent a lot of time on the premise that Kiona, Omar, and Kayri were involved in Heather's death. He may have been afraid that if he admitted his mistake,
No, he was racist.
he would look incompetent to both the public and to other members of law enforcement. In addition, he was likely experiencing a psychological principle known as confirmation bias. This means that things weren't adding up.
Oh my, what the
Just
fuck?
5 days.
Why did you just skip ahead like that?
Enforcement. In addition, he was likely experiencing a psychological principle known as confirmation bias. This means that people are more likely to accept information that supports what they already believe.
He was what I like to call, what the fuck? Why does it keep doing that shit? He's fucking racist, bro. Give me a second. I gotta get back to the spot because it keeps doing this shit.
To accept information that supports what they already believe, and on the other hand, may discount information that doesn't align with those beliefs. With this in mind, just over a year later, Kiona is demanding answers.
I just want to know when y'all are going to tell her that I'm not involved in this and I can clear my.
She's saying she knows that her DNA won't come back. It's at what point do we say?
What point are you going to tell the public that I'm not disclosing?
For a year, the detective would supposedly harass Kiona, frequenting her place of work with
A whole ass year, and y'all let him do this shit? Y'all, bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. Man, fuck 12.
additional officers. At one point, he apparently gathered Kiona's co-workers for a meeting, although the subject of the matter has never been reported. It wouldn't be too long before the single mother found herself out of work while struggling to make ends meet.
So he made her lose her job. Bro, I swear to God, if she ain't sue and get her money.
Every job interview for a new position was to no avail. and it seemed that O'Connell was never going to let her out of his grasp. These were likely acts of intimidation on O'Connell's part, which is a form of manipulation. He may have believed that he could scare Kiona into confessing, which would have been coercion. Yet, after securing a lawyer, Kiona was able to restrict her contact with the detective, but that wouldn't stop O'Connell from allegedly speaking with her acquaintances. In an interview with the Sandusky Register, Kiona recalled a time when she traveled to her local tattoo artist and was startled to learn that after she left the establishment, Detective O'Connell had allegedly made his way in to speak with the artist. Other accounts recall that the detective apparently had residents of the Somerton apartments act as informants for the investigation, hoping to gain more details on Kiona.
I'm not here to say that you did do it, and I'm not here to say that you didn't do it.
Okay, but I know for a fact that you guys got my DNA there and there's no matches. I know for a fact that you guys went through my phone record, there's no matches. I know for a fact that y'all been looking at my Facebook.
Okay.
There's nothing. I know that.
Kiona's suspicious Facebook posts, as previously described, had actually been in response to Julian's prison sentence. And not only this, but she had never been in possession of the Mickey Mouse shirt found on Heather.
Yo, what?
Regardless of these revelations, the detective pressed on.
Yeah, it is what it is. If you're not involved, then you're not involved.
Okay, so when you gonna clear me though? Because me and my kids.
I think we're comfortable to be able to say for sure that it's not you.
This reign.
I fucking hate cops, bro. Just the dumbest motherfuckers, bro. They always let shit like this fucking happen.
Would eventually come crashing down. In an attempt to seek an indictment, O'Connell had written a report to the prosecution, but failed to include that the DNA found on Heather did not match any of the three suspects. Along with this,
he didn't fail to include, he purposely did not include.
He refrained from giving all of his case files to the county prosecutor and dismissed every other lead, besides those relating to the trio. He even ignored a critical piece of information sent in an email by a Whirlpool employee just 2 days after Heather was found.
Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go right here. All right. From O'Connell, Sean, detective, not selfish at all. You guys are a priority as well. I will ask the sheriff to sign that letter. Sent from my iPhone. Sean, I know you are working on that murder investigation, and I completely understand that it takes priority over anything else, but I'm just wondering if you are going to be able to talk to BCI about our case this week. I hope that doesn't sound selfish. It's horrible what happened to that girl, and I hope you catch whoever did it, and I'm really not trying to bother you about it. And by the way, I don't know if you have any suspects, but I know someone who works at Whirlpool that is very capable of doing that to a woman. So you mean to tell me this racist fuck received an email about who could have done it and still decided to deny it just because he's fucking racist? I don't want to hear shit like, he wasn't racist, it was cousin Macy. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. We all know this shit was a confirmation bias. It was just fucking racist. Fucking racist. Fuck.
2 days after Heather was found. It read, and by the way, I don't know if you have any suspects, but I know someone who works at Whirlpool that is very capable of doing that to a woman. This crucial lead would eventually become integral, but in his determination to convict Kiona, Omar, and Kayri,
racism,
O'Connell did not even take it into consideration. However, this would not go unnoticed. Soon, O'Connell was caught giving a copy of the investigation report to an employee working for the Sandusky County Department of Job and Family Services, claiming that he wanted to gain their insight on a person of interest in the case. Once this was discovered by the sheriff, the detective was immediately placed on leave, but it only took a week.
Bullshit, fuck you, he should have been fired.
To uncover the extent of his malpractice. As a result, the detective was quickly let go from his position and was facing an increasing amount of legal charges, which included misleading a public official and tampering with evidence. O'Connell had broken the law that he vowed to protect.
Fuck this. Fuck this. We gotta find out how much time this nigga got. Fuck all that shit. That nigga had to, nah, bro, because he didn't get a fucking prison sentence. I'm gonna be salty as shit. Hold on, let's see. Only 2 fucking years? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Tampering with evidence, lying to public officials, harassing people that weren't even involved in the case anymore, and he only got 2 fucking years? Fuck that. 24 months in prison. Fuck off. Fuck off. Like, this is the bullshit that we talking about. It's always like law enforcement gets to be ahead, like above any and everyone else, when their job is to serve the public. You do not get to be above the law because you are a part of the law. Fuck it. Oh my God. These motherfuckers talking about the entire cop system doesn't need to be reformed. The entire governmental system doesn't need to be reformed. Oh my fucking God. And he got to get away with this shit. Only 2 years in prison for tampering with evidence. You know, what's the average time you get for tampering with evidence? Let's see. What is the average time you get for tampering with evidence? Any person convicted of tampering with physical evidence shall be fined not more than the amount set forth and whatever. You know, we'll fucking open it. Hold on, where is it at? And prison for not more than 3 years. So already, I believe that he should have had 3 years. 3 years from the start for tampering with evidence. How long does this harassment get you in prison? Maximum of another year. He should have been in jail a minimum of 4 years. 4 years fucking minimum. Do I believe it should be fucking more? As well as a fucking fine to the individuals he was harassing? Fuck yes. Should have been way more than 2 goddamn years. Fucking dickhead.
And was eventually sentenced to 2 years in prison. Although this would not be the end of the shocking corruption, seeing as how another
Here we
scandal
go.
had just as quickly broken through the walls of this quiet and quaint little town. Sheriff Kyle Overmeyer, also working on this case, had been caught stealing drugs from the drug take-back boxes in northwestern Ohio.
Defund the police, bro. Defund the police. Fuck 12, 100%. As they say, there ain't no song saying fuck the fire department. Ain't no song saying fuck the ambulance. And there's only people saying fuck the police. That is literally the only time that they're saying fuck anybody. Besides the song about fuck Donald Trump, which I also agree with. But you mean to sit here and tell me? You mean to sit here and tell me that he was allowed to get away with all of this, and so was this other dude right here? Let me tell you something. I hope to God this obviously racist motherfucker got more than 2 years. Because if he did not, I hate America. The literal worst place here, full of misinformation, denying of facts, tampering with facts, changing history, and all of that shit. Fuck America.
Ohio. Facing an ongoing opioid addiction, Kyle was sentenced to 4 years in prison in December of 2016. But during this time, he was able to sit down with authorities to give his side of the story on what happened with former Detective O'Connell.
And we'll get into more on Sean about what he did, but a lot of stuff was secret squirrel with him, and he he did his own thing, and I entrusted in him as a detective, and because you can't do it all, you can't be a detective and a sheriff and
I just realized this motherfucker was the sheriff of his department. And y'all want to say that there's no corruption in the police force? Y'all want to say that the police force shouldn't be reformed? Y'all want to say that the police force shouldn't be defunded? I don't think y'all understand what any of that means.
wear all the hats.
He was dead set on Keanu Boer, and then he found out that Omar might have been out.
Was hiding out there. He was there that night supposedly, and there was a warrant for his arrest. And that's where it all unraveled, where he became obsessed.
Why is that?
I don't know.
See, now here's another thing I'm being told.
Yeah.
That he had a personal vendetta against Keanu Boer.
Kyle gives a brief rundown on how O'Connell helped to imprison Keona's ex-boyfriend, Julian, and why that might have placed the single mother at the top of his suspect list in Heather's case.
Now, in speaking to Heather's family members and Carmela Badillo, they all indicated that the three people that provided Heather her drugs were, and then was the other. There's only three. Nobody ever mentioned Keanu Boer.
Right.
So I don't know how he's getting in and going Keanu Boer, and he's.
So you mean to tell me, not only did he tamper with evidence, not only did he harass a potential suspect, not only did he didn't do only that, he also lied and made up that she was a part of the investigation. I can't even be fucking mad no more. My fucking head hurt. I can't even be fucking mad no more. Bitch ass motherfucker, bro.
He's making that up.
Right. And
correct?
Yes.
All the while, residents across the community were stumped when it came to who might have carried out such a gruesome crime. And some were inclined to leave their thoughts on the most popular social media platform, Facebook.
Fuck Facebook.
One user wrote a post insinuating that Carmela, Heather's ex-girlfriend, may actually be the one that authorities were looking for. The sad thing about this is just a few days after it happened, my brother worked with a guy who no longer works there with him, but he stopped over and told me his sister and Heather had a thing, and that she might have had something to do with it. I called O'Connell to report what I was told at the time, but nothing was done.
So this nigga had people calling in as well, telling him that somebody else could have did it, and his racist ass went, nah, had to be the three black people. I don't give a fuck what any of you say. They want to be out here like, it wasn't racist, it wasn't a confirmation. Suck my dick. Suck it. Suck it into the next dimension. Suck it.
Was Heather's ex-girlfriend the perpetrator who'd been hiding in plain sight? Or was there someone else sneakily going unnoticed? Still, others had their own opinions. One person even stated that he knew more about the situation than most. A lot of time and dedication was lost, and I have proof. I want it done right. I had to bring up a perfected parliament to do what I did and walk it through like a gentleman. Most eerie of all, this person was well aware that corruption was lurking. I trust very few when the problem goes all the way to the top. In addition to the online chatter, others took their...
Fuck that. Hold on. Let's go back. We reading this shit. Hold on. We reading all this. A lot of time and dedication was lost, and I approve. Like I said, I just hope things are done in a professional manner, and not to say I got the bad guy. This ain't spell check. This is serious. I want it done right. I had to bring up a perfected parliament to do what I did and walk it through like a gentleman. If you should know anything, you should contact the sheriff, even if it was things you saw firsthand that the department did wrong on this case. The sheriff is a great guy to sit and an okay and what, nigga? A guy to sit and talk to. Lying ass motherfuckers. Lying ass motherfuckers is what every last person on this shit is.
In addition to the online chatter, others took their concerns directly to authorities. One account in particular stood out. Michael Abdu, a resident of Fremont, Ohio, was in a frantic rush to give a statement on an alleged conversation that had taken place at a nearby bar.
Carmel Police, do you have an emergency?
Hi, I'll be over there in about 10 minutes to give you information about the woman that was murdered over there in Clyde.
Michael claims that he met 3 men at the local bar, where one had allegedly explained to him that he ordered the hit on Heather. Michael refers to this man as Mississippi. 2 other gentlemen had also been present, but he didn't know their names.
They informed me how they killed her in the residence and took her body and put it in the trunk of the car. He said if you got any family, I suggest you do the right thing. I said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then he said, I was the person that took care of the white girl over in Clyde. The black man said this. And I said to him, what are you talking about? What do you mean you took care of the white girl over in Clyde? He said, asked the 2 dudes inside, we took care of business. So I went and asked the 2 guys inside, hey, the dude said you guys took, I said Mississippi said you guys took care of those 2, or took care of the girl over there in Clyde. And he said, yeah, we gave that what she deserved. The one dude turned to the other guy and said, shut the fuck up. The other one then said, dude's cool. Whatever you gotta say, I'm cool with, I'm not, gonna go nowhere.
Michael, clearly stunned by the recent encounter, provided a new lead for the authorities. However, just as quickly, police were able to conclude that they'd reached a dead end yet again, due to the fact that his story couldn't be corroborated by other patrons of the bar. It was clear that from the onset of Heather's case, each and every day had been afflicted by injustice. Fortunately, that wouldn't last for long. The day had finally come where a new sheriff was in town, determined to track down the real killer with no time to waste. Sheriff Chris Hilton quickly dismissed the previous suspects along with Carmela, and soon enough, he'd also pinpointed exactly where Heather had been following her last shift at Whirlpool. Through her Gmail account, authorities were able to see her movements throughout the entire day of April 9th, thanks to the several electronic coordinates kept in Google's GPS. Function. This indicated that around 6:30 in the morning, Heather had been at a trailer park home in the Emerald Estates lot, a little over a mile away from Whirlpool. She remained there for at least an hour before her phone had apparently been shut off. The residence was that of 44-year-old Daniel Myers, one of Heather's co-workers at Whirlpool. The authorities were able to speak with Daniel on May 24th, 2017, over 2 years after Heather's disappearance. evidence.
How you doing, Dan? Hey, Nick Katsopoulos with the Sheriff's Office. Would you be able to take a few minutes and talk to us?
For what reason?
Well, we're working a cold case homicide.
Do you still work for Whirlpool right now then?
Yeah.
Okay. Back then, what shift were you working?
Midnights.
Back then, did you tell them what this is in reference to?
I told him we're working an old homicide.
Come on,
Are you sure?
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Sorry to wake you up. I feel bad.
We're just trying to, like I said, follow up on some leads and some other stuff that popped up. Did you know her at all?
Very, very little. Very little. Just
The officers have not mentioned Heather's name, yet Daniel is already aware of who they are speaking of.
very limited conversation. I guess if you want to know how long I knew her, maybe 3 months, but how long I talked to her, maybe a couple weeks. And you don't get long breaks at Whirlpool. So,
Right.
It's like pee, eat within 10 minutes for first break. And it was very limited chit chat.
Sure. And just so we're on the same page of who we're talking about,
Right.
Heather Bogle, right?
Right.
Okay.
She's the only one
Did you work in the same area as her?
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel claims that he and Heather had never talked outside of work and primarily discussed their children while they were on their breaks at Whirlpool.
She was just a sweetheart. She was very concerned about her kid, worked hard. She was always sweeping whenever she wasn't doing it. She was, it was sad. I guess from it's a little odd that, you guys are.
Well, here's what
I know it's cold case and you guys are just, grasping at straws trying to.
We want to try our best.
Right.
And a part of what we've been doing when we interview people, we've been collecting DNA buccal swabs. It's basically a Q-tip. This is a little thing, and then we're off on our way. Would you be all right with that?
There's no reason why I would have to do something.
Oh, you don't have to. No, it's just part of.
If there's an issue, I'll get an attorney or something. I didn't know really the lady or anything like that, but.
Nobody's saying that. This is just part of being thorough in what we're doing.
I'll pass until there's some issues to where, I'll get my attorney and see what he has to say, but I'm going to pass on that.
The detective is trying to make Daniel more comfortable by mentioning how they ask everyone to provide a DNA test so that he will be more inclined to agree. And while every single person had supposedly agreed to the buccal swab, Daniel is the first to say no. But there was a good reason behind his unwillingness to provide a sample. 2 days later, authorities went knocking on his door once again.
We need to follow up a little bit more in regard to that.
All right.
Because you came off work that morning, right?
Right.
Okay. And there was nobody else in your trailer at that time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There was nobody else living but you at that time.
No.
And then Heather was down in the area.
Well, I don't know. How would I know that she's down?
Well, you're at the trailer and she's at the trailer. So that's what we need to get cleared up. And we know this.
She wasn't in my trailer. There is no way she was in my trailer.
She was in your trailer.
Okay, well then you're going to have to show whatever that she was there.
The first time he says she wasn't in my trailer, Daniel ends with upward inflection, as though asking a question, not making a statement. The second time he says it more forcefully. It's almost like he had to ask it as a question first, so he could repeat it to deny it. We know people struggle with outright lies, so this was likely a way to handle his nerves when deceiving the detective. Someone who is wrongfully accused of something is more likely to deny it using a firm tone of voice. An innocent person may even become a bit hostile. However, Daniel gives a quick and weak denial, and not only is his evasive response more than a little worrisome, but Daniel was also hiding a mountain of disturbing secrets, and his true atrocities were about to be revealed.
Because you knew.
I just don't know what.
But you know Heather better than what you're telling us.
No, I did not know Heather that well. I didn't. There is no way. I don't know anything about her. Just the basic conversation that we had when we sat for a very limited break. That's all it was.
You know what her car looked like, right?
Yeah, I knew what it looked. No, I didn't know what it looked like. I knew from the news, from online, Facebook. There's pictures from that's on the Facebook about the car with, going by Miller's, there was a vision of a car. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's common knowledge. I mean, even the news was showing her vehicle, but I've never seen her vehicle personally.
We didn't draw your name out of a hat and show up at your door.
Okay.
So we're here asking you to help yourself out. Let us know what happened.
Detectives are taught to never reveal to suspects what they know, and in addition, they want to give off the impression that they know more than they do. This accomplishes multiple things. For one, it allows officers to catch suspects in a lie. And two, suspects are left wondering how much police know. They may believe that police do know more than they actually do, which makes it more likely that they will let something slip. The officers further explain to Daniel that they are well aware of his involvement, but they want to hear from him just how that came to be, and more so, what exactly happened on that fateful day.
She was never at your trailer before?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing for me to tell you.
Daniel maintains that Heather was never at his trailer. However, he does give some information relating to what he discussed with her on April 9th at work that day. After failing her nursing exam, she was already feeling down on herself, but the cruel text she received from her brother had only worsened these emotions. When Heather saw the message from Josh around 3:44 a.m., Daniel was supposedly the shoulder that she would cry on. He states that nothing more happened, but as police would soon learn, this couldn't be further from the truth. Following the intense confrontation, they informed Daniel that there is a warrant for his trailer, in addition to his DNA. From here on out, Daniel would be unable to hide the monstrous lie that was masked behind his seemingly normal facade. However, what you're about to see is more shocking than you could ever imagine. Taking a closer look, authorities were stunned to learn that Daniel had apparently mourned the loss of Heather. He attended her funeral and signed the registry book thereafter to pay his respects, even going out of his way to donate $125 to the GoFundMe account of Heather's family, writing a now disturbing message. Heather, you were such an amazing person. Although we've only known one another for a short time, I've come to appreciate our talks about our kids. I'm distraught that there will be no more of your smile at work. You will always be in my thoughts. Your daughter will always be in my prayers. God bless you, little Missy. Danny and Ethan Myers. Apparently, he had also posted to Facebook that he was unable to eat or sleep due to the frightening situation. Daniel likely enjoyed inserting himself into Heather's world this way. He may have felt a secret thrill at the funeral, playing the part of a grieving co-worker, all while relishing in the fact that he was the only one who knew the truth about what happened to her. In addition, he may have believed that staying close to the situation would make him appear less suspicious. But as the investigation continued, it was quite clear to police that things weren't adding up. Just 5 days after Heather was found, Daniel had purchased new plywood flooring for his home, and at the end of the month, a new mattress. Along with this, over a year later, he made a trip to the local dentist to repair a set of cracked and broken teeth. But the reason for the dental visit would be anything but typical. Several other purchases were also discovered, such as materials to repair a deck, lawn chemicals, light bulbs, galvanized nails, and paint. But this could all be explained away, even though a new revelation was far more difficult to rationalize. A warrant had finally been obtained to perform a DNA test on Daniel, and it concluded that the sample from underneath Heather's fingernails was a complete match to that of her co-worker. Over 2 years later, the truth of the devastating matter would finally be revealed. When police officially searched Daniel's trailer, the findings were unsettling, to say the least. Upon entering the residence, investigators found various adult toys, surveillance equipment, a Dell laptop, disposable cameras, handcuffs, jewelry, a pair of women's underwear, and a Samsung Galaxy cell phone. Furthermore, they located several red and brown stains on the bottom of Daniel's carpet. A sample taken from the rug would later come back positive for blood. Not only that, but Daniel had been keeping videotapes, documenting his encounters with women, and had bizarrely Googled nursing textbooks online. In addition, GPS locations from Daniel's truck uncovered that he had frequently driven by Heather's house between the months of March and April of 2015, and had even made his way to the Somerton apartments on one occasion. But once the horrific event took place, his travels around these specific locations came to a sudden halt. This could suggest that Daniel was obsessed with Heather and stalking her, but at some point his behavior escalated. It's possible that if Heather discovered that he was following her and she confronted him, he may have lashed out. Alternatively, he may have expressed interest in her and she rejected him, which made him angry. On top of this, there was also alleged evidence that Daniel may even be connected to more than one crime. On June 1st, 2017, 2 years after Heather's horrendous murder, Daniel was finally taken into custody. One of the investigators asked the other officer to remove the handcuffs from Daniel and instead handcuffs him to a hardpoint in the interrogation room. It seems as though the officers aren't comfortable at this point to completely uncuff him.
You were told you were under arrest, correct? Okay. No Miranda rights at all. Okay. So nobody's spoken to you yet. That's what we're going to do this right now. Right. Well, you are under arrest. And that, I heard the deputy tell you that when we were out there. No, not. Okay. And he said that, but didn't tell you anything else. Right. Okay. We're here to tell you this is in connection with the Heather Bola hunt. Okay.
The officer reads Daniel his Miranda rights, and he quickly requests an attorney, although he still answers one question.
What is your past for your cell phone? I had about a week. Can we write it down? Yes.
Passcodes to cellular phones are protected under the Fifth Amendment in some jurisdictions, and the contents of a phone are generally protected under the Fourth Amendment. In all likelihood, Daniel just waived some very important Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections by voluntarily giving up his passcode and consenting to a search of his device. You should never give up a phone, its passcode, or its contents without a warrant. Even then, good counsel will attempt to have this warrant overturned, or the admission of evidence obtained via the warrant excluded from evidence. By surrendering these rights, officers no longer need to develop probable cause to obtain a warrant in the first place. This essentially allows them to go on what attorneys call a fishing expedition, where they might find evidence of a crime, but may also find additional evidence linking a suspect to other previously unknown or undiscussed.
No, we'll sit down with you and your attorney. I think you got a story to tell.
And it was quite the story. Following his arrest, 10 other women had come forward, claiming that they had been assault victims of none other than Daniel himself. And while incarcerated, the suspect had attempted to regain contact with many of his alleged victims by writing handwritten letters. Although in a conversation from jail, he learns that this may not be a possibility with at least one woman.
All right, did you get a chance to go see what the address was?
He said she does not want anything to do with you.
Oh, well, how does that then?
Talked to her about 3 weeks ago. Huh?
Well, why didn't you mention something to me?
Because I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, it don't hurt my feelings. I just wanted to send her a card, but...
And she said, don't, because if you do, she'll get you for harassment. I mean, a lot of these women that you want to, you're trying to contact, they're scared of you.
All right.
You know, I don't know, Danny. I don't know what you want us to do.
Right, well, enough said.
In one of the letters, Daniel wrote, "So many emotions in one, not sure why I'm writing now. First off, I guess you really didn't know me after all. I was never violent with you. You enjoyed my forcefulness, you told me many times, almost instructed me on what to do. You always told me you liked to be held down. Maybe your memory wasn't as good as mine." As the note continued, Daniel insisted that the unknown person was in favor of his disturbing actions. Although it hasn't been documented if Daniel was ever diagnosed, people with antisocial personality disorder often engage in this sort of emotional manipulation of their victims. They will attempt to persuade the victim into believing that they were at fault for the abusive actions. They're highly skilled at making victims doubt their own sanity along with their own memory of events, as Daniel is doing here with this letter. This is called gaslighting. In this case, he doesn't want anyone testifying against him, and he can't try to scare them into submission from his cell. So he needs to use his words to manipulate them into thinking they are wrong. About what happened. as we hear from one of Daniel's supposed acquaintances, Danny Fry, the horrifying nature of the suspected killer was confirmed even further.
Well, the whole time I've known him, he's been a womanizer, you know. It's his way or, you know, no way. And I know at one time, and this was, sure, God, it had been at least 20 years ago, that I believe a girl had to put a restraining order on him because he was stalking her.
Danny's descriptions of the accused murderer is an excellent depiction of a person with antisocial personality disorder. These individuals will often put their needs first and have little to no concern for the needs and feelings of others. This is how people like Daniel are able to commit such horrific crimes. In fact, people with severe antisocial personality sometimes derive pleasure from seeing the pain of their victim, physical or emotional. Many of these individuals are considered sadistic for this reason.
He was dating her, and she broke up with him, and he couldn't let it go.
This is because individuals with antisocial personality disorder don't consider the feelings or desires of the other person. They function in pursuit of what they want and only what they want. Additionally, these individuals often have an inflated sense of self. Many of them think so highly of themselves that it is to the point of delusion. This can often cause them to become very vindictive and even aggressive if a love interest or romantic partner rejects them.
He was married to a girl named Kimberly at one time, and I guess she didn't tell me until here a while back that he used to be abusive to her, too. And then he was also married to a Bobby girl at one time, and she said that he was abusive.
Daniel and Bobby had a daughter together named Tabitha. On March 28, 2018, she sat down with detectives to give chilling details on the horrors that she encountered as a child, all thanks to her father. Supposedly, when she would visit Daniel every other week, seeing as he and Bobby were no longer together, Daniel would always have a new woman at the house while acting out his violent fantasies. To no surprise, the women were allegedly under Daniel's rule, whereas he would punish them if he didn't approve of their behavior. He would reportedly grab the woman by her clothes or hair and take them to his bedroom. Once the door closed, Tabitha could supposedly hear the blood-curdling screams coming from inside of the torture chamber. It was something that she would never forget.
When he dated, you know, he was dominant, you know. They done what he told them to.
No firsthand knowledge or witnessing anything like that?
No, I've never seen him physically hit a woman or nothing, you know, just what they've told me and, you know, things like that.
Okay. And then
I don't know if my sister told you, but she had told me, I think it was beginning of the summer or whatever, that he tried to handcuff her to a chair. He paid her to come clean his trailer, and he tried to handcuff her to a chair.
Wow.
You know, I mean, she did have bruises on her, you know, her wrist and stuff.
He also claims that Daniel would use derogatory terms when referring to his girlfriends, basically to the point of dehumanization. This suggests that Daniel may have had a paraphilia-related mental disorder known as sadism, where an individual gains satisfaction when causing pain or fear in their partner. On top of this, psychopathy and sadism are linked, although the cause of this is unknown. But as we creep a little further down this twisted path, we learn that Daniel's crimes were darker, and there's a chance that Heather wasn't his only victim.
Did you know Leanne Sluter?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, there was about 5 or 6 years there that me and him didn't talk because my house got broken into, and some people told me that it was him because they seen him walking from behind my house that night.
Leanne Sluter, a girlfriend of Daniel's from years earlier and the mother of his child, Ethan Meyer, had tragically taken her own life back in 2009. Or at least that's what authorities concluded based on her sudden death. But others believe that to be an utter and complete lie. Especially Leanne's sister, Lorianne Haley. In 2009, Daniel had apparently walked into Leanne's home, finding her lifeless body resting on the bed with a single .22 caliber rifle gunshot wound to her chest.
I brought my son home to his mom because we had the weekend deal, and I was here like an hour ago, and she answered the door. I'm like, well, maybe she's in the shower. So I went back home. Well, I had a key to get her home, and I came in, and she said, I need someone to come out here ASAP.
When someone starts telling an elaborate story during a 911 call, this is a major red flag for deception. Most people who find a dead body would request help right away and then answer pertinent questions that the operator may have, rather than delivering a monologue about how they came to find the scene. It already sounds like he's potentially building up an alibi. But the barrel of the firearm had been exceedingly long, and the trigger would have potentially been too far to pull had it been facing towards Leanne. Not only that, but the gun was resting quite neatly beside her, almost as if someone else had placed it there after committing the ultimate crime. However, there was also a note supposedly written by Leanne that Daniel had kept hidden away. Part of it reads, "I have loved you unconditionally without waiver, and all you ever did was use me as a bank, kick me to the side when the next best thing came along. All I ever wanted was to just die so that the hurt would stop." The note had supposedly been written in Leanne's handwriting, as reported by authorities. But even if the note did come from Leanne, there's no way to know that she did so of her own volition. Given Daniel's behavior toward other women, it's likely that he treated her in a similar manner. Authorities have maintained their original ruling to this very day, but many have suggested that a certain someone was actually behind her death all along. In addition, Daniel's brother, Stephen Myers, had written an alarming message on Facebook, indirectly admitting his siblings' guilt. I just wanted to say how truly sorry I am. I can't explain why my brother did this awful thing, but please don't look down on my family or myself, but we are all proven innocent until guilty. Not saying he is and not saying he's not. Only one person knows who did this horrifying crime. Despite previously not admitting what had happened to Heather during his time in jail, Daniel had been spewing an inordinate amount of suspicious comments. This included a time where he'd been watching a TV show starring a female judge and supposedly claimed that he wanted to hurt the woman and rip her hair out, just as he did to someone else. With this, he apparently confessed things weren't adding up. Just 5 days after Heather was found, Daniel had purchased my forcefulness by authorities. With this, he apparently indirectly admitting his siblings' guilt, their original ruling to this very favor and all day. But many have suggested that, in addition, Daniel directly admitted, or not saying he's despite previously not admitting what had happened to Heather during his time in jail, Daniel had been spewing an inordinate amount of suspicious comments. This included a time where he'd been watching a TV show starring a female judge and supposedly claimed that he wanted to hurt the woman and rip her hair out, just as he did to someone else. With this, he apparently confessed to an inmate that Heather had traveled to his house after their shift on April 9th, 2015, where Daniel comforted her regarding the text sent by her brother, but then tried to initiate a romantic gesture towards her. In return, Heather began to laugh, sending Daniel into a rage. In an instant, Daniel supposedly overpowered Heather, trying to force her to submission. However, the young woman was much stronger than Daniel had imagined, and she was able to fight back, and even managed to knock a tooth from his mouth. He would later superglue the tooth back into place, according to his dental records. But sadly, Daniel was able to subdue his victim, handcuffing her wrists and tying her feet, all while beating her without any remorse. Eventually, he would end the young woman's life with 2 gunshots to the back, place her body in the trunk of her car, and drop the vehicle off at the Somerton apartments. The truth had once and for all been uncovered, but the brutality of the murder forever remains one of the most shocking events in that small Ohio town. Yet this case doesn't end here. On February 1st, 2019, within days of starting his trial, Daniel was found face down in his cell, prompting a medical emergency.
You doing all right, Dan? I'm just laying down on the floor, face down. Yeah. Hey, Dan, can you hear me? You all right? What's going on? You got any pain anywhere? Just sit right there. Squad's gonna come look at you.
As the result of an unsuccessful attempt to take his own life, Daniel was transported to the nearest emergency room. Yet he was unable to escape the inevitable consequences of his evil crimes. Former detective Detective O'Connell, who almost put 3 innocent people away for life, was sentenced to 2 years in prison in September of 2018, but was eventually released in July of 2020, 2 months early. Along with this, the former sheriff who also investigated Heather's case is currently out of prison and works as a drug rehab counselor, helping others to not make the same mistakes he made. In 2019, Heather's friends and family would finally receive the long-awaited justice. During his trial, Daniel apparently ignored everything, doodling or writing the entire time, except the recap of the crime, which he listened to intently. Still, Daniel pled guilty to aggravated murder along with several other charges, ultimately avoiding the death penalty. He will spend the rest of his life in prison and will never have the chance to receive parole.
Is that someone passed out on the ground right there? Where's your mommy? Do you want some more juice? You got cockroaches running around in here.
I understand this. I've been dealing with it for the past week. I don't know what else am I supposed to do.
I don't know, maybe put up your drug paraphernalia? Hold on.
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me.
Ma'am, calm down, okay?
On April 22nd, 2021, 2 Flagler County police officers make their way to a home in Bunnell, Florida, to investigate reports of a child screaming. However, they could have never predicted the absolute horror that awaited them, as they were soon faced with one of the most heartbreaking situations they've ever encountered. Not only that, but the case would go on to shock the entire community to its core. Authorities approach the house at 1:30 in the morning, where they are baffled to find a trash-ridden front yard. However, this is only a glimpse into the deplorable conditions of the home.
Is that someone passed out on the ground right there?
The officers are able to see 2 small children through the window. It appears that they've been locked in a room by themselves without any adult supervision. And if the circumstances weren't suspicious enough already, the nightmare waiting inside would prove to be all the more disturbing.
What's up, little buddy? Where's your mommy? Where's your mommy? You want something to drink? Do you want some more juice?
Police.
Sheriff's office. Oh, are you guys looking for someone?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah.
This is 26-year-old Christina Coe, who shares the home with her fiancé, 27-year-old Gilbert Bridewell, along with their 3 children.
Yeah, are you the mother of these children here?
Yeah, what's up?
They've been screaming and crying?
Yeah, they're playing. They have the windows open. That's what they do.
They're not playing, ma'am.
Right, well, he looks like he needs some juice or something. He's showing me his cup.
Yeah, I was just about to go get them.
Okay, well, we're getting complaints that they feel like there's children in distress over here.
Yeah, they're very loud and they scream a lot.
Yeah, it's called a kid.
Yeah.
How old are they?
It's almost 2 and 3. They're very, very...
Is anybody supervising them?
Yeah, I was just in there.
Despite what Christina claims, the 3 children are actually 2 years old, 1-year-old, and the youngest is only 7 days old.
Like, I was just in there getting them stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my other daughter in the
So there's like 10,000 choking hazards in there that they're locked in that room and nobody's in there supervising them as they're screaming for the whole neighborhood to call us. And this apparently has not been the first time from all your neighbors calling in, saying that they hear this multiple times throughout the week. Do you have an ID with you? Can we go get it?
Hold on. Let me check your car first. I know like you didn't.
You look like you've been asleep.
No. I actually haven't. Barely sleeping days. I've been in the hospital.
Are you the only one here?
I'm supposed to be alone with the kids right now after my surgery.
Are they both your children?
Yes.
Christina was released from the hospital only a couple days prior, following the birth of her newborn baby.
When was the last time you even changed their diapers? As it's sagging there, probably full.
They had a ton of juice, and it was probably an hour and a half ago that I changed their diapers.
Does it seem to be a safe environment for your children?
Yeah, it is completely safe. It's just, they're very, very loud and vocal. And since both of the windows are opened...
This is a safe environment, huh?
We're still cleaning it out. Their uncles and aunt just left, and they trashed the place. So,
I'm not enthused so far, to be honest with you.
Neither am I.
Christina states that Gilbert's brother and his wife, along with their own son, had also been living in the house before recently moving out.
Well, it looks like, I mean, by the way it looks outside, it looks like, I mean, this took a while to build up this. Is that their room?
That's their room. That's the play area.
Do they have beds to sleep on?
Yeah, they have cots in there. They fold them up when they play.
Do they have bedding? I see cots. I don't even see bedding.
That's what the cots are. That is their bedding. I've already.
They have sheets, pillows, blankets.
Yes, they have pillows. They have blankets in there. I go in and I clean it every single day. And they take all of the toys out of the toys bin and they do that.
When was the last time you had a drink?
10 minutes ago.
However, when police arrived, the child had been holding his cup in the air while incessantly screaming, perhaps indicating that a long period of time may have passed. With this in mind, the officers are a little skeptical of the mother's claim.
What do you have that's holding that screen in besides tape?
Go ahead. Just the tape.
US 1 South coming up for Silver Woods.
It out.
No, 28. Why wouldn't you be looks like a silver on it?
Because there's no air. There's no air circulation in that room, and it gets really hot.
So when he pushes that screen out and comes into this, then what?
or if he just gets out and runs around in the neighborhood.
Our grandmother is literally right next door.
You think your grandmother's looking out for 3-year-old, 5-year-old running around at 11 p.m.?
No. Sorry.
Can I see the inside of your house, please?
Finally, the officers request to see the inside of the home. However, they aren't prepared for what was just beyond the door.
We're still cleaning. Like, that's the thing. We've had DCF and we're still cleaning.
What's your DCF case for?
Like, I just got home from the hospital. Like, I don't even know why you're being mad.
I can tell you, looking at that diaper, it hasn't been 10 minutes. And I don't even have kids. I don't need to have kids to know that. That's not urine. Do you see that? That brown? Yeah. You see all that? That's not urine. And it's full of what looks like sand. You got cockroaches running around in here.
I understand this. I've been dealing with it for the past week. I don't know what else am I supposed to do.
I don't know, maybe put up your drug paraphernalia? I'm not enthused.
The cockroaches would turn out to be just one of the many sickening discoveries throughout the home, and the officers can barely stomach the horrendous conditions that the children have been forced to endure.
Is that your vehicle out there?
Yes.
So the drug paraphernalia in there is not yours either?
What drug paraphernalia?
I believe my partner said he observed it in the passenger compartment of your vehicle while you guys were out there.
Christina doesn't respond, most likely due to her knowledge of the unidentified substance. Next, she makes a phone call to her fiancé.
Hey, the cops are here. For what? I don't know. Here, you talk to him. You want to talk to my fiancé?
Yeah, this is Deputy Gomez. How can I help you?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
We're getting complaints about the children because they're screaming and it looks like they're being unattended.
My wife's been there with them all day.
Right, but here she was sleeping and they're locked in a bedroom.
I was in my room breastfeeding my other daughter.
We just had concerned citizens that we don't know if the kids are on the inside, the outside, if they're in...
Got bugs crawling around in their room. It looks like there's feces all over the wall.
We've been trying to deal with it. His brother, who lived here, trashed the whole entire place, and we've been dealing with cleaning it.
The brother put... the feces and stuff on the wall?
That's from his son. We've been in there trying and trying and trying to scrub it off the walls.
Gilbert will have the opportunity to speak with the police face to face. For now, the officers question Christina regarding the Department of Children and Families, or DCF, case. She states that their current case has been open for a couple of days, and an employee had recently made a visit to the home. Supposedly, the caseworker told Christina that everything looked okay, but the residence was still in need of cleaning. She claims that she doesn't know how the case was first opened.
Do you have food for them?
Yes.
Can I see that, please? Do you have child care products, diapers, etc.?
Yes. All of our child stuff right here. We have it organized. These are locked, so they cannot get them in.
I'm not worried about the mice. The biggest concern I have is the cockroach infestation.
I know. It's been like that for years, and we've been it's been a lot worse. This whole entire place used to be trash. You couldn't even get into the living room. That's how bad it was.
Get it, you're an adult and you choose to do whatever, but I mean,
That's my fiance.
Okay, and there's another pipe over here too, and that's like an access, so the children have access to that. You got rolling papers over here.
Yeah, that's his stuff.
This is not an acceptable environment.
I'm trying.
I know, I'm not. I'm not saying you're not trying. I don't know what it was before. All right. I know what it is now.
I know.
So I don't know how much progress you've made.
I've made a ton of progress. This whole
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go outside and talk. While we're out there, if you please change your diapers.
Christina's fiancé, Gilbert, has made his way home from work. He undoubtedly was not expecting a visit from police.
Do you live here?
Yes, sir. I am the father.
You been working on that or what?
Yes, sir.
How long you been living here?
I've been living here roughly 2-3 years.
2-3 years? All right.
She's been living here with you for 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she said just a few months. Huh.
It was on and off because my uncle had originally thrown her out, which I had to move out with her, and we moved back in once everything kind of cleared up.
Well, the reason we're here is the other children were locked in that other room. Just the screen, duct tape in there. Neighbors heard them screaming. It seemed to us that she was sleeping. Took several minutes to answer the door. So in case of emergency, she would have never known.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have a child camera in there.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Does that camera record?
It does not. It only shows, what's going on at the time.
So if I walked up to that window where they're sitting out there talking to complete strangers that they don't really recognize as law enforcement, you pull that screen off and take that kid through that window, how are you going to know?
I'd see it.
You'd see it while you're at work?
Not while I'm at work, but while she's here.
Well, she's here sleeping.
I have no way to connect to it because we don't have internet. If I had internet.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The mother and father are well aware that they have put their children in danger, yet they only seem to care when they're faced with the consequences.
There's 10,000 choking hazards in that room. While she's passed out, they could stick a car in their mouth. You know how kids are, they stick everything in their mouth, swallow it, choke out on the floor while she's sleeping. He's banging on the door. That obviously is not enough to wake her up. And she glances over at the camera, sees her on the ground, thinking, oh, she's sleeping. Next thing you know, your kid's dead.
Yeah.
You see where we're getting at?
Yes, sir.
Because right now I have enough to take you all to jail.
Yes, sir.
For felonies.
I completely understand.
DCF is coming out tonight.
Okay.
They're going to inspect what we've seen, and we're going to figure out a plan from there. What we're getting at is this is an unacceptable environment, and it's neglectful to your children. And we don't know if you're going to be charged at this time.
Okay.
How come there's just piles of trash?
That we sit it out front, but lately the cats and raccoons have been getting to it, and that's what happens out here.
Hold on, partner. I live with raccoons too. They don't do that, and that, and that, and that. That's not a raccoon. That might be a bear. That's not a raccoon.
Gilbert states that he's been using roach and flea spray throughout the home, although his attempts to exterminate the infestation are apparently unsuccessful. Next, 2 additional officers arrive, where they appeared just as shocked. Not only that, but they find additional cockroaches hiding in the one place you would least want them to be.
You got cockroaches inside.
Yeah, I don't even know how long I've been fucking muted. Oh, fuck. I fucking hate that shit, bro. Occasionally it'll just fucking mute me. I don't know, and I don't even know how long I've been muted, but you guys have been able to see me fucking talk. Whatever, you know I've been fucking mad. Never mind.
You're rich, man. Yeah.
Like, I know it's a mess.
You're gonna have to get help though sometimes because
I know, but no one wants to help me.
I understand, but you're bringing lives into this world when you can't take care of the ones that you have right now. You know what I mean?
Like, we can take care of them. It's just we're trying to take care of them.
I know, but
you cannot take care of these children. It should have been determined by the DCF that you have the inability to take care of these children. This is really a very sad case, and personally, I believe that whoever the agent is that was on this case should be fired immediately, as well as whoever the agent on this case should never be allowed to work in the child care facility, jobs, or anything like that ever again. If they are ever found to be working as such, they should be fined millions upon millions of dollars and should also be sent to fucking jail.
But if you were in their shoes, I don't know how your childhood was. Like, would you want roaches crawling all over you at nighttime? You wouldn't want roaches crawling all over you and all that kind of stuff, right?
You're right.
Good picture this, right? You got a passy right there, and you got like the roaches. If the roach leaves like a crap or something on it, and then the baby puts it in his mouth, that baby has no immune system. Like the baby could probably die from it. You know that, right?
We completely understand.
Soon, a DCF caseworker arrives where he informs the parents that their children are going to be removed from the home.
The fact that it took up to this day to remove those children from this home shows the DCF is also incompetent.
It's then decided that they will be placed in the custody of their aunt. Gilbert assists in installing the car seats in the vehicle. However, Christina breaks down in a hysterical fit as her
Fuck Christina, and I don't give a fuck what she has to say here. Fuck her and everything she stands for.
children are placed in the car.
Hold on. Just hang out over here.
Please don't touch me.
Hang out over
Please
here,
don't
ma'am.
touch me.
Ma'am, just calm down, okay? Stay out here. So based on our findings tonight, okay, we do have probable cause to make the arrest on both of you. Okay? It's just not fair what's happening with these kids. All right, so both of y'all are going to be going to jail tonight for child neglect. Okay, DCF has obviously custody of the kids, and they're going to be staying with your sister, cousin. Is that what it is? Hopefully you guys are able to get out tomorrow. You can get back to your baby.
Yeah, but what? We have no money. I have no family.
I understand, but we have...
You don't deserve a family. You don't deserve anything here. Personally, obviously, you've been incompetent your entire life. Now, whether that be through a drug addiction or not, the DCF should have been took this children and made it prominent that they will be taking your children. So at least you had some force or sense of operations to become better than what you were. But obviously, you do not care about these children enough, whether that be to your drug addiction or not. Now, I've never had a drug addiction. I'm not addicted to drugs. I don't know many people who are addicted to drugs besides the one person that I do know who is addicted to coffee. But I don't know people who are addicted to drugs. I'm not sure how that process could go. I do sympathize for the people who are addicted to drugs, but for the case that you are bringing children into this world while being addicted to drugs shows that you are the problem and you do not deserve to have these kids in your life. And you should have been taken to jail a long time ago. I do understand that the addiction to drugs can be really hard to overcome. But at the end of the day, you should have been faced with this choice a long time ago, about 2 years ago when you had your first child, because obviously you were living like this at that point in time.
Yeah, but we don't tolerate this. All right, the conditions they're in is unsafe for them in general, completely unsatisfactory.
The couple are officially placed under arrest, but Christina refuses to make it easy.
I know you're upset about your kids, but you hitting your head against that glass is not going to do anything. You have 3 little ones that care about you, that are waiting for you.
Yep.
So let's just get this over with. Okay, we're going to go get you cleared at the hospital. If you don't want to get any treatment or anything, you'll just have to tell them that.
I don't want to go to the hospital.
Okay, but we have...
You just tell them you don't want to see them, and they'll just fill out a piece of paper, and we leave. But according to our policy, because you just had
I'll fill it out now. I don't want to go there at all. I hate Advent. They treat me like...
Okay, perfectly fine. It's not your decision, it's ours, okay? Our policy states you're going to have to go. If you sign out AMA, that's not a problem. You don't have to get out of the car. That's not a problem, okay? At the end of the day, this is what is happening. I'm very sorry if you don't want to tell you that, but there's no decision here. There's no choice to be made. This is what's happening. Please do not hit your head against my partition. All it's going to do is hurt and damage my car, okay? Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns at this point in time?
No.
Great. Close the door. Let's go.
Christina and Gilbert were charged with 3 counts of felony child neglect without great bodily harm. The charges were eventually reduced to a single misdemeanor of...
Why the fuck were the charges reduced? Why were the charges reduced?
Contributing to the delinquency of a child. However, this wouldn't be their last interaction with police. In January of 2023, Gilbert was arrested on felony charges of aggravated assault and cocaine possession. The first charge was eventually dropped, but the second is still pending in court. A couple of months later, Christina was reported missing by her fiancé, but was discovered alive and safe only 5 days later by Ormond Beach police. At the time of this video, the current welfare of the children has not been reported.
Hold on, hell no. Fuck that. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Alright, here we go. Hold on, give me a second. We gotta look at Gilbert real quick. Give me 1 second. We're gonna look up Gilbert real quick before we get in this stream. Gilbert Bridewell is apparently homie's name. Not fucking homies. This bitch ass motherfucker's name who abuses his fucking children with the way that they're living. Homie is a TikTok account? No shot.
Everybody shut up and stop scrolling!
There's no way this homie has a TikTok account. This motherfucker. You shouldn't even be around your fucking kids. Ain't no fucking shot. The fucking tent outside, bro. Alright, so what I will say is apparently this fucker Gilbert has a TikTok account. His last upload was of 2022, 11/6. So that's November 6th of 2022. He has not posted since. He should not post since. Fuck him and everything about him. That is not me saying that you guys should go to his TikTok account and send him hate. I do not approve of such, regardless of how I feel about this person. But yeah, no, I don't. I feel like they should have been charged with the 3 counts of child neglect. Apparently, this is a picture of the house. That's Gilbert. And that's his shitty fucking wife or girlfriend, fiance. I don't give a fuck. Let's see if there are any pictures of the home, because they obviously didn't show us what was going on. So let's see. This was the outside of the house. It looks like that's fucking ridiculous. Any other pictures? Any other pictures? Not that I can see of. These are the only pictures that it seems to have on the internet, but like even then, that's fucking ridiculous. What the fuck? Who the fuck is this dude? He looks like he should have been arrested a while ago. But back to this, like this open image. This right here is enough to tell you if this is what it looked like outside. Inside, it was probably 10 to 100 times worse. But that'll be all that I'm doing for this stream, man. Hopefully all of y'all enjoyed my rage fuel induced true crime stream today, man. But I hope all of y'all had a wonderful time. If you're on my YouTube, make sure that you go follow me on Twitch. And if you're on my Twitch, make sure you go subscribe to me on YouTube. Watch every single video, like and comment on every single video, as well as turn on those post notifications. And make sure that you follow me on TikTok as well. Both of my TikTok accounts, my main and my backup. Both No One Knows 88. One is No One Knows 88.9, which is the main number of it. But you should be able to find all of those and follow me on Twitter to be notified of the streams. This upcoming Saturday will be no stream at the scheduled time of 12 to 1 p.m. Now, there may be a stream afterwards, but I do have something going on between that time frame, which is why I'm not going to guarantee and say that there's going to be no stream at all. Do wait till Saturday, and I will notify you of such. But other than that, man, hopefully every last one of you enjoyed your time watching this stream. I enjoyed it as well, even though a lot of the time Shukan makes me fucking angry. But I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day.